Welcome to our fire and water yin class. This is for the Pisces New Moon and the Aries season we're stepping into, or if you're in sidereal, we're still in Pisces season. So if you haven't already taken a look at the astrology that is informing both of these practices, I invite you to go and watch that video now, and then meet me back here for our yin class, our yin postures. We are going to be blending the fire and the water. So yin is traditionally a very slow, quiet, softer, receptive class, and we're going to maintain that with the water, as well as holding edges where the fire can come in, where the fire can burn away and help dissolve and reshape that which is trying to leave and move through our life during this particular lunar cycle. Today is also the spring equinox, which means, there's a lot of life and movement and abundance and new beginnings wanting to push up and through. So we're going to be sitting with, the dissolving of Pisces medicine, the surrender, the witnessing, the softness, the slowing down, the watery depths, as well as inviting in that fire, that initiation of Aries, that spark, the life force it takes to create life and creativity. Make sure you have blocks if you need them, bolsters or pillows, blankets. I have a sweater over here just in case I start to get cold. Yin is a slower practice, and so we're not building heat so much as we are taking our time to go within and really sit with and hold postures for a long time. This helps us get into our ligaments, into the tissues, into the fascia, and to create a meditative state within ourselves and to get clarity on what is going on within us and bring that clarity more fully outward into the life around us. So to begin, we're going to start in toe stand. We're going to open up these joints of our ankles and just start to build that heat, that fire. We're going to start with fire, and we're going to move towards the integration of fire and water before we find Shavasana as our last pose. So toe stand can be a number of different things depending on your ability and capacity today. Your body changes every day. So anytime you're practicing this, it isn't about what you could do yesterday or before or what you think you ought to do. It's about meeting your body where it is now. So I recommend some blocks just to begin. I'm gonna face you, but I invite you to face, the front of your mat or something beautiful that you can either drop into a beautiful gaze with, or if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. So to come into toe stand, we're gonna first come into a tucked toe position with our knees already on the floor. This may be enough for you. This may be exactly where the body wants to go. You may already feel the activation here. If this is too much, leaning forward with hands on blocks or a bolster or the earth is perfect. Right? So these are our options 1. Option 2 is to have your blocks to either side of your hips and to come into a toe stand, which is standing on the toes with your hands on blocks for balance. And then if you're really, really adept and you feel like you want to practice some balance in a soft way, you can bring your hands up off of the blocks. So we're just going to take about 30 seconds or so to find the correct posture for your body today, and then we drop into stillness. We drop into the breath. We allow our mind, our awareness to follow the sensation, to notice our thoughts and our feelings. So just going where you feel your body wants to take you today. We always want to have a sensation at around 3, maybe 4. You know, we don't want it too restorative where we're able to just soften completely and kind of float away. We do want a little bit of our awareness in the body, but we don't want to be bracing and holding. Wherever you are, just dropping the shoulders, deepening the breath in a natural way. Noticing what you feel, where your mind goes, the stories you tell. Really coming into a supportive hold so that you're not bracing against gravity or holding your body. But allowing surrender. The ankle joints are really, really precious, so if you need to take a break, be gentle with your body. Take about 5 more breaths. To come out, if you're balanced, bring your hands to the floor. We're going to shift our hips over our knees to alleviate the toes, and then you're going to point the toes up towards the sky. Flex, point, bring them to the earth. And then just take a small child's pose as an integration. Toes together, knees can be wide, maybe like a bolster. And then just find some stillness. Allow your mind to watch and to feel, to begin to slow down. Noticing what gets activated when we feel fire or heat, challenge in our body. My cute little meow is my cat. So continuing to hold your posture while I let him in. We'll take 5 more integrated breaths in our child's pose. Slowly rising, keeping the mind deep within the body. The breath slow. We're coming into Sphinx pose. So we're we're going to come down to our bellies, kind of like a cobra pose. It can be nice to have some cushioning under the pelvic bowl, the floor. And then Sphinx is having the shoulders over the elbows and about shoulder width apart. And in a yang practice, I should say, we're really focused on pressing the floor away, keeping the structure. But in a yin practice, it's really okay to like hang out in the joints, so long as there's no pain or sharpness, right? So you know your body. And we're just gonna hang out here in Sphinx pose for 5 or so minutes. So really getting comfortable. A lot of people sometimes like to bring a block to the forehead or under the chin. You might not, my block isn't big enough, but so you might have to stack a couple things. But that keeps this like head lifted kind of feeling. And before we really drop in, if you've been practicing these the way they're intended and created, they're in tandem. There's a yin practice and a yang practice. There, in the yang practice is a lion's breath that we cultivate throughout the practice. And we're gonna weave that in here as well to honor the building of the fire, the releasing of the fire, what it means to both hold fire and water. So a lion's breath is taking a nice inhale in and then sticking the tongue out on the exhale and going. So we'll do 5 cleansing lion's breaths before we settle into our Sphinx pose. So emptying the breath from the lungs, taking a nice breath in, exhale to lion's breath. Again. 3 more. 2. Last one. And relaxing down into your Sphinx pose. Letting the breath be wide and soft. Noticing the sensation move through the body. Really surrendering the muscles of the body to the bones, letting the bones hold the shape. Sometimes Sphinx pose is a little bit more subtle. If you're not feeling much, sitting with that for a moment before the tendency to press on. But if you're looking for more sensation, you can come into seal, which is a lot more activated. Seal is pressing into the hands and lifting the elbows up off of the earth. You can always slide a bolster underneath the arms to help alleviate the muscle activation of the posture. This shifts usually Sphinx into the lower back a little bit. So just making sure there's no pain. Relaxing the palms, the shoulders. the glutes. Letting your mind do a whole body scan, a slow, soft body scan, starting from the toes, working up the legs, all the way to the crown of the head, just in sweet curiosity, noticing the sensations. Going to deepen this posture just a little. Whether you're in seal with bolsters underneath your belly and sternum, or you're still in Sphinx, you're going to take the left arm that's in Sphinx or seal. You're going to place the palm of the left hand where the right elbow is, so that you can open up to the right side. And then start to bend the right knee and reach for that back foot. If you cannot reach the back foot, that's fine. You can stay in this twisted shape and just lift the knee. And then as you reach for that foot, gently draw it down close to the glute. But we're not looking for muscle activation where we're pressing down. It's more just like a weight on the foot. Option to stay twisted or to begin to look forward again. Just go, be curious, be slow. Release the glutes, the toes, the shoulders, maybe even the head. Really letting go of that back foot, that back leg. Just letting it sway to the side if it needs. Staying with your breath, staying with your body. We'll take 5 more breaths on this side. Seeing just how surrendered, just how watery, how fluid you can be in this shape. Letting the sensation be the fire that you notice in the body. Letting the breath expand and bring space. Slowly release the foot if you have the foot. Slowly allow the foot to find the earth and then turn to face forward. We're going to take 10 breaths of integration this way, just laying fully. If you have bolsters underneath you, that's okay. Placing a block underneath the chin or the forehead. And just really releasing and feeling how the last shape feels in the body after you release it. So staying slow. Well, we're going to do that on the other side. So coming into that other side slowly, right? The right hand now goes to where that left elbow is. We're opening up to the left side. And we bend the left foot. Reach for that foot if that's available to you. Option to stay turned towards the side or to reface the center, the front of the room. You can feel nice here too, to release the right arm straight out in front of you. And just imagine you're breathing through the whole right side body. Letting that left knee fully relax, the left thigh. Finding the places you can really soften the muscles. Notice the places you grip and hold. Allow yourself to soften. Breathing into any places of sensation, letting the breath expand and fill those spaces of sensation with awareness, with attention. If the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, back to the sensation. Stay with the body. Three more mindful, full attention breaths here. Breathe into the full shape of your body. Notice it. Breathe into the sensations that are alive in your body. And one last breath to fully surrender into this shape as it is. And then we slowly release that back leg. Once that foot is on the ground, then we turn forward for our integration. Both hands come out in front of you. And you just allow the head to drop, maybe onto a block or a bolster. And just breathe and notice. If your head has been turned one way, gently turning it the other way. And slowly placing the hands near or underneath the shoulders to press yourself up gently. Staying as inward as you can as you slowly move. Remove the bolsters, the blocks out of the way. We're coming into sleeping swan, which is also known as pigeon. If you don't do pigeon pose, you'll take a figure 4 on your back. If you don't know what that is, I'll demonstrate here really quickly. Otherwise, I will meet you on right side pigeon. So for those taking pigeon on your back, you'll come to your back, cross the right ankle over the left knee. This is place 1 to start. You may already feel it. Place 2 is to reach through the window of the crossed leg and the outside of your left leg and hug it in towards the chest. So just finding your shape, whether it's figure 4 or sleeping swan / pigeon with the right leg. If you're doing pigeon, come into a lunge first. It's the easiest way to get in. And then you tiptoe your left or your right foot all the way to the left side of your mat and slowly allow the right knee to come to the floor. Option to always place a bolster underneath this left hip. You might have to move it around a little to find some space if it needs some cushioning. And then you just find your shape. Do you want to fold over the shin? Do you want to fold over the knee? Do you want to stay lifted? It's really about what's calling to you in your body right now, using bolsters and blocks to really allow the upper body to not brace and hold, but rather release, soften, surrender. Sometimes there can be a nice rocking from side to side, some self-soothing. So long as it's not coming from a place in the mind that is trying to evade sensation, only you know the answer. So just check in with your body in the next 5-10 breaths. Commit to your shape. And then settle into some form of stillness. And rocking can be a form of stillness, so long as it is grounded in being present with the sensation. Really breathing, sending the breath to the places in the body that have sensation. That right glute, the hip flexor, the quad, the lower back. Sometimes the foot will start to tingle, so long as it's not sharp or super, super uncomfortable and distracting. It's an actual okay sensation. It just means that we are constricting blood flow, and so there's less blood flow right now to the right foot. Stay with your breath, the experience of your body. Really see if you can release the glute, the holding of the lower back, the muscles that are engaging. See if you can let the bones, gravity, earth, the mat hold you. You'll often find when we surrender, when we soften, say you did have that tingle sensation, it often dissipates. Not always, but it can. So allowing your mind and your breath to follow the sensation as it moves through your body. Option to deepen, maybe you drop a block a level lower, maybe you move into a deeper shape, or you pull the knee closer to the chest if you're on figure 4. It's really deepening where you can. The mind wanders, bring it back to the body, the breath, the sensation. Wherever you are, if you're on pigeon, coming up to an awake pigeon. So we're not coming out of pigeon just yet. If you're on your back, stay there. We're going to do 3 lion's breath. So emptying the air from the lungs with an exhale, and then taking an inhale, 2 lion's breath. Last one. To come out, if you're in pigeon, we're going into a gentle, wide-legged stretch. And if you're on your back, you're just going to extend the legs long, take a mini micro shavasana, or you can even plant the feet and bend the knees up towards the sky. And we're just going to sit in stillness and awareness for a moment. Notice the return of blood, the fresh new blood that pours into the right side body. breathing into the right side of your body and noticing how it may feel different than the left. Staying gentle and inward and soft with the mind. And then we'll move to sleeping swan on the left side, or we will do figure 4 on the left side. So taking the next 10 breaths, really move mindfully. Slowly stay inward. Coming into that left side pigeon, left side figure 4. And before you descend into your pigeon, I invite you just to notice the difference in the left side and the right side body. You may need that bolster underneath the glute if you're in pigeon, or even underneath this right hip flexor. Just be gentle and notice, and then find your shape. Seeing where you can relax and really surrender. Just send your breath to the sensation. Imagine the breath could fill the places that are lit up with sensation, with awareness, with attention, with love, with acceptance. Nothing to fix, nothing to change, nothing to effort towards. Just complete acceptance of the body in this moment. If you can deepen, letting yourself deepen. If you need to come up or out a little bit, listening to your body. Seeing just how still and relaxed and quiet you can become. Noticing what the mind is doing and pulling it back into the body. Turning towards sensation, towards experience. Really relaxing down into the mat, into the bones that touch the earth or the floor. Feeling yourself without effort, letting go, dissolving, releasing, surrendering and allowing, giving the body over to gravity. We're going to come into those lion's breaths. So if you're in pigeon, you're going to have to rise, emptying out all the lungs and all the air in the lungs. And then inhale to 3 lion's breath, your own time, your own pace. Beautiful. And then coming into our integration posture, so we slowly roll into straddle if we're in pigeon pose, and not your biggest, widest straddle. And then if we're on our backs, we just come to a nice rested position. And just notice and feel. And be with what is. Next posture we're coming into is frog. So frog can be pretty intense on the knees. So I invite you to get like an extra blanket to put on your mat and to cushion the knees. So if you're gonna do it on your mat facing forward, you would keep the blanket horizontal to the mat or perpendicular. And if you're turning out the length of your mat, which is what I recommend, you're just gonna want that extra padding under your knees. And so to come into frog, we'll grab our blocks, we'll grab both of our bolsters. And we're gonna start by coming into, it's like almost like child's pose where we're sitting on the heels and then we widen the knees out. And then we'll use our blocks, hands on our blocks, to walk forward into this like wide tabletop position. And then we're just gonna slide the knees out and apart. In a yang practice, we would be really focused on where our feet is in line with our knee. But in a yin practice, once again, you can be really more giving here. So really just getting curious about what your hips can take here. And this might be where you stay. You might just stay on your blocks. Notice how far your hips want to go back towards your heels or how forward you want to go. Sometimes bolsters can be really nice here underneath the heart. They can also be very helpful underneath, like tucked up into the crevice of our hip joints, 2 of them, to help cushion the coming down. So you're just going to take, 10 breaths to really find your sensation. We're not looking for the deepest frog. We are holding for time. We are holding for release. And we want to be really gentle on these joints. So you're looking for a sensation of about 3 max. You really don't want to be pressing and pushing and bracing your body. Yin is not about going after a goal. It is about receptivity, receiving opening, receiving flexibility, receiving lengthening and opening. So just meet your body where it is, and over time, she will deepen, she will open, she will come into deeper forms. So just take your time and find your expression of frog. Just a place you can really relax. And once again, breathing into those sensations, following them with your breath, noticing what happens in the mind. Frog is often one of those postures that we try to escape with the breath and the mind. So pulling the breath and the mind back into the sensation, turning towards the posture, turning towards this moment. Right? Fire and water, there's an intensity in frog that we're blending with the surrendering of Pisces of water. Allowing the rigidity, the holding to dissolve, to be held in water. Just deeply listening to your body if you need to go deeper, if your body is inviting you to go deeper, or if your body is inviting you to, lessen, pull back just a little. Take 10 more breaths. Let them be mindful. Let them be full attention breaths into the sensation. Breathe where you feel the most sensation for the next 5 breaths. And for these last 5 breaths, breathe where you feel the least, the most subtle of sensations. Locate it in your body. Try to listen for it. Try to feel for it. To gently come out, we'll place the hands underneath the heart. Slowly, slowly, slowly push up. And then we're going to lean to either side and then just begin inching the knees in towards each other until we're in a tabletop position. Slow, slow. In this tabletop, we're just gonna do some like hip swirls. You're just gonna move through the hip joint really slow, like a wave, like undulating through the tailbone, the sacrum, really dropping the pelvic bowl down towards the ground and then rolling the tailbone in and up, drawing a circle with the sacrum, with the tailbone. And then reverse the circle or the figure 8 or whatever shape is happening in your lower body. And then we'll do 3 cat-cows. Beautiful. Walking the hips over the heels, coming just to sit for a second. We're coming into our last posture, and this is hero's pose, which is similar to what I'm doing or displaying here in this moment. And then we'll take our shavasana for the integration of class. So we only have one more posture that we're doing. And grab your bolsters and your blocks. The bolsters are going to go behind you, so we're going to face the front of our mat. We're going to come to sit on our heels. If this already is enough for you or even too much, I invite you to place a nice bolster in between your knees and to sit here. You should feel stretching all along your quads. If you don't, but you know sitting on your heels is still too much, you're going to walk your heels out so they're in line with your knee. And then you're going to bring the blocks behind you. And you're going to descend back slowly. So that's one option. Another option is if it's comfortable to sit on your heels. Check in, make sure that there's no pain here. We're going to place both of those bolsters behind us. We're going to take the blocks with us. And then we're going to sit in between. So we're going to bring the toes out to the side so that our hips can sit in between our ankles. Option to stay here or to begin laying back down onto the bolsters. And you may only need one bolster. I really invite you to remember that we're looking for sensation in the quads. So really not pressing it or pushing it to a sensation beyond a 3 or a 4. Because we hold for time and the body eventually softens and opens if we can not push and force, but rather listen and allow. So just dropping in with whatever shape you can find. And this is the full embodiment of fire and water together. There should be a lot of sensation. We're deeply opening the front side body, the heart, the hips. This is a very vulnerable place. The belly, right? This is stuff that we normally, even subconsciously, pull in or have a lot of like tension and gripping of the muscles around. So there's this fire, this sensation of heat, of activity, and the invitation of surrender. This is the culmination point of our yin practice, the culmination point of the lunar cycle that we will be in for this month. How open can our body be in a soft and generous way? How present can we be with the initiations, the challenges, the changes that are in our life? So just slowing down and dropping in, breathing down into the mat, down into the earth. Staying present to your experience, your breath, your sensation, your body. Breathing with the sensation, sending your hands there to touch and reassure. Presence, stay and turn towards it. We have 10 more breaths here. Folds gently come up. We're going to find our blocks. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Find the blocks or the earth, and you're just going to press yourself up with one hand and then the other. Slow, 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 slow. Place a hand to one side, lift up so that you can bring the feet out in front of you. Slow, 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 slow. Be gentle with the joints of the hips, the knees, the ankles, and then bring the hands behind you, fully releasing into the hands, into the palms, and just letting the blood flow return to the legs. Noticing how the body feels. Noticing what's in your awareness. And then we're going to come into Shavasana. I invite you to either come fully down onto the floor with no props. Otherwise, if you'd like a prop, you can always set your blocks up like so. And then a bolster so that you can have this like reclined Shavasana. This might feel really nice after Hero's pose. So just take your time slowly, finding what your body likes. Sometimes bringing a sweater or a blanket and an eye mask is really lovely here. So finding your Shavasana, and I'm actually going to play the hand pan. After I'm done playing, we'll spend a little bit time in Shavasana still in stillness and silence, and then I'll call you out and we'll finish the practice. Really just be soft and allow your body to rest and allow your consciousness to slip down underneath the bones, into the subconscious, into the unconscious, and observe and witness the flow of sensation that moves through your body even as you are still. Gently bringing your awareness back into the body, keeping the eyes soft and closed, and just taking 2 or 3 breaths with the full length of your body. Noticing how the body feels in this moment. Recalling perhaps how the body felt, how the mind felt, how the heart felt when you first started this session. Just taking a moment to thank your body and thank yourself for carving out the time to be with yourself. Always an invitation to just close class here on your back, or you can meet me in a seated position, inviting you to place a hand on your heart wherever you are, maybe one on your belly or your womb space. And remembering that this clarity, this peace, this awareness, this presence is always available to you, always available to us, no matter what we're doing or where we're going. It just requires us to soften inward, even in a loud world. May you take this peace, this clarity, this balance, this presence into your life, into your communities, into this world that so needs your light, that so needs your awareness. Thank you. So much, and I hope that this next lunar cycle is beautiful as you navigate the deep Piscean waters. And if you follow tropical, Happy New Year. And if you're still feeling sidereal, like the New Year's coming, we're just in the dissolving of what is and can no longer be. Blessings. I'll see you soon.